Hello, everybody. It's about to be that time. Time for another AMA of the week. We're going to give it just another minute. I think we actually have everybody on stage that we're looking for, but we'll give people a minute to file into the audience and then we'll get started. All right. We're going to go ahead and get kicked off. I do want to just warn everybody in advance. I've come down with something, cold, flu, not COVID. But I'm going to try to keep my choking death cough on mute. However, if it slips in, I apologize. And then with that, welcome to this week's AMA. So we do have some stuff to talk about today, as well as a few questions to answer. And as is our tradition, we're going to start with a kickoff from Frisky Fox, who is back with us this week, because I think last week was when you were out, if I remember right.
That is correct. I was on an airplane during the AMA. Sad to have missed it, but I did leave that message, and I think it got passed along. So happy to be back. And yeah, it's really. I guess it's been 2 weeks since I talked to you guys, but there's been a lot that's happened in that time, and it's always amazing to just sit and look back at how much has happened over the past couple weeks, but especially during this time at the end of the year almost to sit and sort of look back at all the things that have happened this year. And there's just been so much. Like when I just run my mind back along each month, just all the things that happened, there's so many amazing happenings. Like we have some really good partners now that we didn't have last year. We've got our own chain. We've got new realms, new heroes. We migrated Serendale to an entirely new chain that has like 1 second block times and had to refactor a lot of things to do that. We've got duels, we've got multi-questing, just all kinds of amazing stuff. And so really it just blows my mind to look back and see the amount of things that have happened uh, and sort of like where we came from and like where we're at right now. But you know, a lot of what we did this year, I see as basically laying the foundation for us to build upon, and that really good, amazing foundation that we've got built right now is really setting us up for next year to just be able to just reach entirely new heights. And so I'm super stoked about that as well. Having the team that we have and the expertise that they have built over the last year plus to have the skills that they have enables us to be in a very like unique situation where we are able to just do amazing things I don't think other teams out there could do. Plus, having the most amazing community in the entire space helps as well. So, just really excited when I sit here and think about what is in the works for next year and the things that will be coming to see how it all goes and where it all goes. And if you'd asked me a year ago where we'd be in a year, or even year and a half ago, where like we'd be, I would have been way off. And I think it'll probably end up being the same this one as well, because there's just so much that you can't predict or can't see that will be happening and coming, and it'll be exciting to see what new things we have at this time next year as well. So, with that said, let me look at my notes. Updates. We had duels launch. Obviously, we had a season 2 launch, and along with that, there was real-time claiming of like rank rewards, which I think is huge. We also refactored some of the rank levels, so that will work in sort of a different way. And I think those are all really good changes. I've also heard a lot of really, really good feedback about the new class bonus feature that we added. It was sort of a last minute thing that we snuck in, and I think it's really cool because it creates sort of a automatically rotating meta there, I guess, that requires you to have like multiple teams to really take advantage of it. So I think that's really a good change as well. I heard a lot of good things back. Speaking of like matchmaking, there are some things that we're still monitoring and observing and tweaking as it is needed. We're preparing to launch season 2 on Serendale as well, which entails us having to sort of refactor and optimize a few things as well because they have smaller block times. So some of those things we had to do for like the matchmaking to sort of make it be more efficient and more accurate at the same time. Because some of the changes that we did this time was adding it so it's more of an exhaustive lookup to ensure that we get the best match. And it's been good, but it's also had some side effects. One side effect is it really matches you really as good as it can. But sometimes that makes it a little bit less interesting because there's less randomness in it. So we want to add a little bit more randomness back into it, while at the same time monitoring it and making sure that you aren't matched with teams that are just like out of your league, basically. So I'll be experimenting with some things there, and we'll see some of that soon. But overall, it's been really, really good, and I've heard a lot of good feedback, and I'm excited to continue to tweak that as we go. I think that's most of it. As I said earlier, I was out for a portion of like the weekend and end of last week and early this week. So just basically starting to get back into the swing of it. We also have holidays right around the corner. I know a lot of you probably have exciting and fun plans. A lot of our team does as well. And it's always just a like really good time to rest, recuperate, spend time with family and loved ones. And I hope all of you can have that opportunity as well. So I guess with that, I'll turn it over to Bolon again, and we'll see what other people have to say.
Thank you, Fox. Guys, we finally got him to take a couple days off. Dreamer, you want to give us any updates?
Sure. I think my updates will be less exciting and fun for everybody. But as we go into the end of the year, there's some housekeeping things from a business perspective we've been extra focused on. We've had some meetings with lawyers. We've geared up meetings with external accountants to help us in our first like Kingdom Studios fiscal year that we'll be getting closer to. We do want to be making sure that we are doing our best and have the ongoing narrative of following regulation, tax laws, and others, so that we are helping, I guess, do everything the right way so we can have a long-term stay without any type of issues coming up with like three-letter agencies or others. So a lot of work going in that regard, in terms of having good data internally as it relates to financial statements, getting good professional opinions on our legal structure and how to continue to improve that. What is DeFi Kingdoms? What is Kingdom Studios? How is our other contractors like Wisdom Gaming? How does that all come together in the right way, as we adjust with the ongoing narrative of the like regulatory environment and the events that we're seeing happen? So people should be at least happy to hear that we're focused on that. I'm not going to give like a long drawn out update on all of these pieces, but a lot of our success in recovering, pivoting, reestablishing strong foundation to build a fun and deep like ecosystem, a fun game and a deep ecosystem allows us and requires us to also be looking at things like legal structure, tax, and market making as well. It's been another one. So I'll just give those updates for those that are wanting to make sure that we're being mature business running adults and taking care of the boring stuff. We are. So back over to you, Bola.
Boo, adulting. All right. Let's go to the dude of Beetle.
All right, there we go. I'm totally caught up. I know what's happening. Yeah. So from my
I saw you
perspective,
posting voiceless, so I had to pull you next.
you would. Yeah. From the build side of things, obviously we're continuing to push stuff out. Super excited that we were able to get a big update out yesterday. With the card back updates, the sound, the inventory, a ton of great work. Obviously it's a lot of quality of life stuff, but it makes everything more enjoyable. I think makes it more like a game, and we're going to keep pushing in that direction, and continuing to bring quality of life improvements where we can. And I gotta say that I'm super bullish on PvP stuff. I get to sit in on those meetings and join in and talk with Wisdom, and it's really exciting to see what they're putting together, and working with them to get stuff integrated now into our system. So super excited about that, and I'll be taking hopefully a little bit of time for the holidays, and just want to wish everybody a happy holiday. Appreciate you.
Thank you, good sir. Magnus?
Yeah, like Beetle mentioned, it's been really good to keep the discussions going with Wisdom on the PvP side of things. Made some good steps forward this week in integrating contracts in the game and setting kind of setting the stage for all that work. So really excited about that, and yeah, really bullish on the PvP as a feature in general. Also had some cool releases coming too on the Avalanche side of things. They've I don't know if it's deployed yet, but they basically announced a cross subnet messaging system similar to Layer 0 and Synapse. So that'll ease some message passing and things like that. So really excited to see support for that kind of at the native Avalanche level. So more cool things to come on that. Yeah, and then in terms of like what we're working on the Solidity side of things this week, power ups is kind of front and center. So that's kind of what I'm working on, and working with Hubert on building that out. So yeah, just going to be taking some time off for the holidays as well, and yeah, just bullish for the new year. That's it for me.
Thank you. Hubert?
Yeah, kind of echo what everyone else is saying. We've been having a good time with working with Wisdom on PvP. Right now, we're in the middle of trying to finalize some of the abilities on some of the classes so that we can have them set up for internal testing, which I'm excited for. It's a lot of really exciting stuff, and as we go through all these things, and there's a lot of back and forth over like specific abilities, but in general, like the flavor is really interesting to me, and it always leaves me, thinking about all of the meta that's going to exist that we are not able to predict, and I'm really excited for that. So it's been very good working with them, and also things like Magnus mentioned, working on power-ups, trying to get that ready for early next year, as well as the pet bonuses, level 10 profession quests, and pet feeding. We're moving forward on that as well. Starting to feel, I'm feeling good about where we're at with that, and it's just a lot of work with what we need to do to kind of integrate pet functionality into the system. We will end up needing a new infrastructure for our quest core that we use. Which is going to be a little bit of extra work, but will put us in a better spot overall in the end. So looking forward to that, and of course, always looking towards the future and what's coming after that. So there's just a lot to do, a lot of work, but I also do plan to be taking some time off for the holidays as well, and also want to wish happy holidays to all of you. So thank you.
Awesome. I do appreciate all of you gentlemen. While we're here and we have a moment, so as you've heard, most, if not all of us, are going to try to take a little bit of time and, resurface into real life over the holidays for a little bit. That being said, for next week, our normally scheduled AMA, we are going to be here that day and that time, or Bat Day and Bat Time, if you used to watch the old Batman cartoons. But we're going to do things a little bit different. Unless we get just some like crazy pressing questions that need to be addressed, we're going to do just like a shorter year-end review, just kind of talk about where we started, where we are now, some stuff coming up. So that's going to be this time, this location next week, rather than an AMA in the traditional sense, unless there's just something that we really need to address. So just so that y'all already know that is happening, because it seemed like a good time to plug it. Aside from that, let's take some questions. So our first question is actually for Second Best Dad, who you may have noticed is not on the stage. However, he is in AMA Voiceless chat, so he is actually going to drop a response to this question in chat, and then I will read it for him, which I may come to regret. So the question is, recently some Tagua workmen were seen on the docks. They look like they're regular working Joes just like humans, so why do we keep them as pets if they are sentient beings? There is an answer to this question, actually. So, the answer is now posted in AMA Voiceless chat. If you are there and prefer to read it, I just pinned it as well. However, the Tagua have their own language and culture and are known for their strong work ethic and willingness to integrate into human society. One unique aspect of Tagua culture is the use of turtle shells, which they wear as a form of adornment and protection. They also fit their young with turtle shells to blend in with and be raised by the native giant turtle population. They're also not above pawning their eggs off on heroes to raise as pets, but they see it as free babysitting while they go about their lives unimpeded. I should have done an SBD voice, but that would have been bad. So anybody who has not had kids cannot appreciate how valuable free babysitting is. You always take free babysitting. The Tagwas figured out how to make it long-term free babysitting. So that is why there actually was that is actually already like written as lore. So this question made us really happy because we got to share that. So thank you for that question. Next question is going to be a Dreamer question. Update on the DFK runway. So what does the current runway look like, and are we generating enough to support ourselves today?
Yep. So I'll be cautious here because I think first we have to keep in mind the market can change any day. So we've seen this year, if we would have answered this question on day X, and then a few days or weeks or hours after X, things could change with a high correlation in all asset prices and people's overall like interest and tolerance in activity in the market while they see other things going on. However, currently, and actually for the last weeks and months, we've been running a surplus of fees from game activity relative to the cost of deployment and actually running the protocol. So that includes kind of everything. That's not only just paying people to develop, but when we budget things out for events, running DFK chain, running RPCs on Clayton and so on. As you look at that, we have been running a surplus. In addition to that, our static treasury has continued to improve in health over time, really, as a result of the surplus that we've been running. We also have been benefited, significantly from build incentives from ecosystem partners at Avalanche Foundation and Crust, which is like the Clayton kind of investment arm. On the Clayton side, we've received over half of the build incentives. The remaining are going to be coming when we hit certain build milestones and participation milestones. So we're still following their lead on level of transparency and timing of that transparency. I think they are very transparent with their community on these type of incentives, but did want to report that post-launch we have been on the receiving end of that has contributed positively to our overall treasury, which is also contributing to a much lesser factor from the weekly surplus or monthly surplus of fees from game activity relative to the costs of development, running, and marketing the protocol. So just to add another caveat there, when we think about transactions, price of tokens, health of DEX that allows selling or transferring of tokens at a healthy manner. All of these things affect the ability for a surplus to be run. There was a time when we were not running a surplus way earlier in the year as things were hectic and we were looking for solutions with the chain that should not be named and the tokens that we held that no longer had value and liquidity and so on. Those days have been past us for a while and we've only seen the treasury get healthier. So burn rate, what we're doing, how we're spending money will always be a moving target, especially now as we're looking to allocate money to some outside accountants, market maker, lawyers to progress our overall structure and so on. Did I hit everything there, Bulon?
I do believe so.
I'll add a couple thoughts if you don't mind.
No.
Excellent overview of all that over there, Dreamer. And I just sort of want to second all of that. It was kind of like a refiner's fire this year. You know, there's a lot of stuff that was thrown at us as a project and as a participant on like certain blockchains and things like that. But it made us stronger, and it made us basically have to make changes that needed to be made. And having those things get made really puts us in a good, strong position to where we are making sure that we're very conservative with our runway and things like that, so that we can stay here for the long term. And that has always been our goal, and that will continue to be our goal. We love this project, and we're not going anywhere. So really stoked that all those things have had that effect on the project and have made us, like that much stronger. And really excited for the future too, because we're in a much healthier spot now than I think we've been in a long, long time. Which it basically just gets stronger and stronger as we go. So yeah, I'm really happy about that and where we're at and the direction that we're going in. So just adding those thoughts to those as well. Thank you.
Thank you both. All right, and now it's time for everybody's favorite part of the AMA, a series of questions for Hubert.
Yay.
First one, auto questing power up. Is it possible? Is it likely we would see something like this deployed into DFK?
Not only is it possible, it's what we're planning to do. So, yep, you can look forward to that once we get there.
Awesome. Next one is tiers as a raffle prize. The idea of adding tiers into the raffle master.
Okay. So yeah, that is possible. I think we'd have to look at it. I just want to note that our goal is not to have tiers return to how they were. So adding things to the raffle, you need to be careful with how much that's going to be producing. So we'll look at that and see if it makes sense and where it would make sense. And it may or may not happen, but no guarantees at this point.
I will also add, for anybody who missed last week's AMA, Hubert actually discussed the state of the state of tiers, as well as like the goal behind that a little bit last week as well. So if anybody missed that, make sure to check out either the YouTube recording or the write-up from Sandwich Punch for more background info. All right, and then the last question for Hubert at the moment. Dark summoning summons remaining. So with dark summons, the summons for the new hero follow the same pattern as they do in standard summoning, with the exception of 2 heroes that have 0 summons left going into the pit and mutating. They do not get the 1 summon for the mutation that would be there in standard summoning. And the essence of the question is just why.
So actually, in standard summoning, you wouldn't even be able to summon with 2 heroes that have 0 summons left. So it's already a different situation. And the extra summon you're getting is basically being able to summon with the 0 summon heroes. So that's I guess that's the kind of rationale behind it. I didn't see it as a good thing to actually give that benefit in addition to everything else. So that was a conscious decision to not include that, and that kind of, I guess that tells you why. I mean, you can still summon with your 0 summon heroes if you're dark summoning. So you go kind of the dark path. It kind of follows that route of you can keep dark if you want to get those mutations. You can keep going that route. But yeah, 0 summon heroes can't do summoning through the standard portal.
And actually, I apologize. I got corrected in voiceless chat. It's so 1 summon remaining, they get dark summoned. The new hero in standard summoning would have 0 summons unless it mutated. Then it would have 1 in dark summoning. It still has 0. Sorry, my fault.
I see. That is true. I think it's kind of a consequence of how he coded it, and I guess if you did have 1 summon left, you may want to try doing a normal summon first, I guess is what I'd say. I'm not sure that we're going to change that. So with Dark Summoning, it kind of gets past all of the having, getting extra summons back and whatnot, just because you can summon with zero summon heroes. So yeah, for now I think it's going to remain that way. But yeah, thanks for the clarification. That is a little bit of a different situation. So
Absolutely. Sorry about that, and thank you for the clarification. That is actually our list of questions for this week. For anybody who missed last week, I did mention last week that we may look at moving to an every other week format, just depending on how things kind of kick off in the new year in terms of we should theoretically have a little bit less on the update side than we have over the last several months where there's been a lot happening and a lot of updates to give. And then just depending on kind of the flow of questions, so we may end up moving to a every other week setup for our AMAs. That is still to be determined. But in the meantime, that's going to wrap us up for this week, and I'm going to give all of these fine folks their 30 minutes back. But we can go around for any last comments prior to that. Real quick, I do have one last comment, and that is that DFK will not forget you on Christmas Day. And I'm just going to leave it at that.
Thank you. I had sort of an extra thing that I forgot to mention. We had announced last week, and I wasn't here, but we announced something about the fee collector that was going to be able to claim some of the Jade rewards and also Duel that will have invested for it. That was a hopefully you guys could still hear that.
Nope, we lost you.
Sorry, yeah, my headphones were like, you're running out of batteries. It's back now because I plugged it in. Basically, there was amounts that had accrued in the old jeweler from Harmony. There, I said it. And those have been redirected to the fee collector in Crystal Vale and in Serendale too. And so the plan for that is to, I think, claim those quarterly. And we were planning on doing the first claiming of that today, sometime this afternoon. I pushed up the code for that, and it seems like everything is working. So we'll probably make an announcement or something about that at the time. But just expect that sometime this afternoon. What that means is if you hold S jewels or C jewels, you'll probably get a little bit of a extra bump there once we hit that button. So just stay tuned for that. And yeah, back over to you, Bolon.
I appreciate it. All right. So yeah, we'll go around for final comments real quick. I already one last final comment for me because I was reminded we are doing a series of giveaways. So it's kicking off right now with one that's running from us, and then we are running a series of giveaways that have actually been sponsored by really all of you. Kirakua has been collecting to do a big donation for giveaways. So it is that time. Make sure you keep an eye on our Twitter for details for that, or ping Risen if you want to, because it's fun. And submissions to the currently running one go in the side quest channel here in Discord. So now I'm done with my final comments. We'll go reverse order. Hubert, any final comments you wanted to add?
Nope, not really. Just very bullish for next year. We have a lot coming, and I'm really excited to be moving forward with game content and starting to flesh things out. And really looking forward to PvP and everything that's going to come out of that with us being able to then move on to PvE and everything. So I think it's going to be a very exciting year next year, and I'm looking forward to it. And also just looking forward to having some time for the holidays as well to kind of reset and recharge and get ready to kick off the next year with full power. So yeah, thank everybody for supporting us as you have, and probably won't talk to you again until next year. So you'll have a great rest of it.
Magnus?
Yep. I just want to say happy holidays to everybody and looking forward to next year.
Beetle Dude?
Happy holidays from Beetle Dude. And thanks.
Dreamer?
I was considering just doing the exact same thing as Beetle, but I'll try to say some words. Yeah, I think Fox mentioned at the beginning, like, we have a foundation now. Hubert just mentioned, really excited about game content and a lot of new things. Building on this foundation, it should, a few months down the road, as we look back, it should show just how strong of a foundation we've made, but also, all things considered, hopefully it also shows our ability to pivot and be resilient to market events and find good solutions and continue to build credibility and trust with the team that we have here, the community that we have here, and the product that we're all contributing to and building. So I'm really excited about next year, not only for all the positives that we hope will come out of it, and the innovation and blockchain gaming, hopefully some cross protocol partnerships with other games, finding ways to gamify additional platforms to add value to the ecosystem. But as you look back and we see, either relative to others or other paths that we could have taken, I think it's going to be very gratifying. I think we should all be very proud of ourselves at where this is, because this isn't just a job. This isn't just a hobby. I think we all see DeFi Kingdoms and what we're contributing to as something that means more and probably different to each of us. I'm just happy to be a part of it, and I hope that during this holiday season we can be grateful for all of us here, all of us that are supporting those in the community, helping new players come in, helping others that might have a bad day, and say or do things that we don't like or want, or things along the way that maybe aren't perfect the first time around. I think that we're showing that in the future, if and when we are not perfect first time around, or something happens out there where there's a bad day, week, or month, we want to be a force of stability and quality and innovation. So hope we can all reflect during this season, and I wish everybody happy holidays and a bullish new year.
And Frisky Fox.
Thank you. Yeah, a bullish new year. I love that. So I sort of said it earlier and it was reiterated a little bit here, but yeah, I really do feel like, this year we've accomplished so much. And a lot of that has been basically laying the foundation for what is still to come. And our team has been honing their skills this year and is easily the best in the space when it comes to this kind of stuff that we are trying to build here. When we launched, I guess a year and a half ago, everyone's like, "Oh, it's just another DEX," and then we're like, "Well, we're not just a DEX; we're a DEX and a game." And then it's like, okay, now like we're not just a DEX and a game; we're also our own chain. And then it's like, okay, now we're not just that; we're also creating a like metaverse where other protocols can come and interact. And it's just excited to see every step as we kind of grow up and kind of graduate into a new realm and opt to conquer the next thing. That has always been our attitude, and that will continue to be our attitude, is to just create and build things here in this space that will bring utility and a lot of just like really cool synergies for all the players here. It's a real like win-win for everyone who's here in this space that is building, basically. So really stoked to see what will still be to come in this next year, and what things we can't even foresee that we'll end up also accomplishing this next year too. So super stoked about that. Also, the treasury is in a good place. Exciting to be able to have the ability to start to do things that we weren't able to do earlier. We've got some cool initiatives started on like the marketing side and art and creative type sides that I'm really excited to see as well. I won't say anything more about that yet, but there's some pretty cool things in the works. With that, I think I'll just leave everyone with a happy holidays, happy new year, and bullish. Thank you for coming, and thanks for being the best community ever.
Bullish.
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 And happy